As a young New Jersey lawyer, Nelson Johnson became fascinated with the history of Atlantic City. His obsession led to a book, and that book became the basis for HBO's hit series, Boardwalk Empire.
I have to come to you.
Johnson tells the history of Atlantic City going back to its beginnings in the 1850s when the first trains arrived. But the city's Prohibition-era political boss, Nucky Johnson, is at the center of the story.
I represented the Atlantic City Planning Board from 1980 to 82, and I went into City Hall knowing the place was corrupt. It wasn't that long before people had gone to jail. And what I didn't anticipate was how dysfunctional the city was. I couldn't make sense of why can't this place get anything done. My instincts are those of a bookworm. I had my first library card before I was in kindergarten, and so I said, let me go to the library. And there's books on the boardwalk, books on Atlantic City as a tryout town for Broadway, books on vaudeville, books on fire companies, books on hotels, the books on horses on the beach, books after book after book. But when I got through about a year and a half reading all these books, I had a couple observations. One, nobody ever touched on the town's corruption. It's right in their face, but nobody's writing about it. Two, nobody had a real feel for the importance of the African American community and the critical role that it played in the town. And then three, nobody ever put the whole thing together. There wasn't one book that you could read that started with 1854 when the trains came and worked up to the present. So I said, that's very interesting. But I continued reading about Nucky Johnson, and the more that I read him, I said, you know, he's not just a book, he's a movie. I really should try to write this book.
I have my territory. South to Cape May, north to Asbury Park, west to Trenton. I have the casinos, the numbers, and the wire. I'm not looking for anything else.
Haven't we had this conversation?
I didn't ask for trouble.
There are some fascinating differences between Johnson's historical account of Nucky and HBO's dramatic reimagining.
I look back at Atlantic City's history, it's pretty obvious to somebody who's, I think, objective, is that corruption in Atlantic City was organic. It was perfectly natural, and it was needed in order for the town to be successful. Old Atlantic City had a window of opportunity of anywhere from 10 to 14 weeks in order to make a buck during good weather from vacationers. And most of those vacationers were out of Philadelphia. And Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, was also one of the driest cities in the nation. And so when they got to Atlantic City, it was a place to have, you know, a wonderful good time. In the very beginning of the book, I quote a gentleman who came to this town around 1900 and saw the town through its many years of popularity, a gentleman by the name of Murray Fredericks, and in pressing him for why was Atlantic City so corrupt, his response was, if the people who came to town had wanted Bible readings, we'd have given them that. But no one ever asked for Bible readings. They wanted booze, broads, and gambling, so that's what we gave them.